Yes, folks, and welcome. It's great to have you here. Today, we have another little dirt trap special, 2024. Here I have brought you various dirt traps again, and there are several reasons why I am making this video for you. Recently, we also took a look at the new bucket system from Dr.glossy, and included in that was this component, the dirt trap. We also mentioned this in the live stream, expressing some doubts based on our experience over the past years and the many tests and dirt traps we have examined, whether this product works 100%. We then tested everything in a video, and you can feel free to check out the results. But we will also examine the dirt trap in the wash bucket and its properties to see if it works just as it is supposed to. I also brought you the original Guardz dirt trap. This is actually the classic one. There are many replica versions available here as well. This is the ultimate classic piece. It's been around for many years. Then we have here the model from, I believe Chemical Guys sells this one exclusively. I don't know if another manufacturer has released it under a different name, but I simply know the part as the dirt wrap Cyclone. You can also see down here these small pyramids, the little feet, and also these small pyramids that help filter the dirt, although I believe the feet themselves also filter a bit. So it's actually very well thought out. And then we also, as you can see, have the dirt lock from Guardz here. And for all the newcomers, I also brought the scrub walls, which will be attached right over here. It looks really wild at first. And the second reason, well, the first reason is that I want to make an update on it and a new ER variant. The second reason is that I have noticed in the videos about the Dr.glossy set that there are many new faces and new nicknames on the channel, and some of them have mentioned in relation to this topic that they are really new to the subject and need to understand what all of this is used for. People are also surprised at how intensely this can be done. In the end, we only talk about car washing, but there are so many inventions and tools out there now, and we are already at the wheel brush with a removable cover and microfiber. 5, 6, or 7 years ago, no one thought about this. So in this area, in this craft, hobby, everything that goes along with it, and which is also spent a lot on professionally, there is really a wide selection of very innovative things, just like the bucket, which is innovative and has definitely overshadowed a simple gallon bucket for me, because it has so many cool features. But yes, as you saw with the dirt trap, there is definitely still some work to be done. A brief principle. What does a dirt trap really do? A nice, compact, short video with a few impressions here. We will also fill everything in again. It's a really nice, informative video, hopefully for you on the topic of dirt traps. A dirt trap, explained simply and quickly, is meant to capture the loose dirt that you have in which bucket. Let's take this one here, which you slowly accumulate in the wash bucket when you use the bucket wash method. You put the dirt trap in here at the bottom, and then you wash your vehicle, and you have, for example, dirt particles in the wash mitt. Be careful, now comes the point. Here in the bucket, I still have this decorative sand, which really copies the dirt from the self-service box almost 1-to-1. This is exactly the same sand that he also finds at the bottom of the self-service box. So it's not the same, but it's the same customers, the same customer size. And there was also a video about it, which was like, man, but you really don't have that much dirt in the bucket. Yes, of course you don't have that much dirt in the bucket, but just 10% of the amount that's in there is enough to create micro scratches with the glove. And there is just a lot in here in the bucket to make it visually clearer for you. We can, of course, also zoom in with the camera, and you can then look for the 5 particles that float back up. But with the amount, it's simply potentially better for you to see a grain of sand that is also rising. So let's just take a little more quantity. But whether you stir up 60 grains or, I don't know, 2,000, it doesn't really matter in the end. Even 60 small grains of sand plus 10 more can create 10 points that will leave their marks on the paint if one is not careful. Additionally, there might be a relatively poor wash mitt, not this one, but perhaps you also have a sponge or something similar that has no way of picking up dirt at all, but just rubs nicely over the surface. Even here, I still have these little sand grains. You get really nice micro scratches, and you do that 2 or 3 times. And that's why there are these dirt traps, which are supposed to ensure that the dirt, when you rinse the glove out here, and for that you need to wipe it off a bit, can be rubbed back into your own hand. Or there's this option as well. Then you rub the glove, I'll show you that again. You rub it inside here, which is inside, you rub it against the scrub wall, and the dirt falls down here in the back and sinks below the dirt trap. I know it sounds completely crazy, but it's just really awesome. The idea is to keep the dirt down. That's why it's important for a dirt trap not only to hold the dirt. Here, you can also easily wipe off the top, which is why there are slats on top. You can actually do this quite well here. It works with all of them. You can wipe off well everywhere. But what is important is that the dirt falls through, nicely drops out at the bottom, collects down here, and then is held at the bottom. This means that when you rinse the glove at the top for the second time, rubbing it up here, a flow is created down here. And if these slats, regardless of how they are structured now, whether they are small pyramids or these small pointed gaps or little mini funnels, if they simply do not fit conceptually and the flow underneath becomes too strong, it stirs up and the dirt comes back up. And you saw in the last video that all the particles were back in the wash mitt, and that was not the case with the trap, for example. Let's take another look at that. And that's why a dirt trap needs to be really well thought out. It must be designed with great engineering. It has to be logically structured so that it actually works. The gaps must be small. The storage space down here should not be too small. It can even be a bit larger, but that would lead to waste in the bucket again. So here, it just needs to be a small space if this flow down here is to be prevented. And that's exactly what makes a really good dirt trap. You can wipe off the dirt up here, it falls through, and it collects down here without being washed back up. And with that, it should work well in the end. So, the dirt has to settle a bit first because you obviously don't start with a dirty bucket. However, we can already use the dirt trap here. And this works through these 3 small grip points. You can really grab them nicely and pull them out. And then you just let them dip in there. You can also hold them a bit at an angle so that the air escapes underneath. That was the case at the beginning too. This thing has gone through 3 or 4 development stages. I have also analyzed each individual dirt trap and every single update together with you all. So you know, I have a bit of a quirk in my head, but that's why you watch the videos, because I think maybe you have a quirk in your head too and enjoy it. And I can already see this is going to be a wet affair. So dirt is down. Here we have our wash mitt. No red particles in there. I'm taking another close look here for a few small lint pieces, but there's nothing with red sand or anything. We've got that now. It hurts my heart so much. We now have a bit of dirt in the glove and it's really hiding nicely here in the fibers. And now let's just go into the wash bucket here. We've worked nicely at the rocker panel and are now rinsing out the glove. And then you have to move it a bit back and forth. Oh, I shouldn't have filled the bucket so full. So now scrub nicely along the bottom and the side here. I really need to be careful. I have to pour out a bit, folks. Otherwise this won't work. My whole table is completely wet. I hope you can forgive me for that. Now we have a bit less in here and I don't have such a huge mess from washing in here. So now let's wipe this off down here. Yes, it's better now. So scrub the dirt off down here. It sinks down and everything is nicely trapped under the dirt trap. Now let's take a look inside. I'll come around. Long arm.
And then you can actually see here, it looks good. I still have this little red crumb here, just a small red crumb, but otherwise it has become really nice and clean, and we didn't bring anything back up. We can now take a look at the other side as well. There is nothing in here either. So, it is always 100% that all crumbs are retained. You really need to rub the wash glove nicely down here as well. And that's why there is this wool, which you can use like this. I can also put it in right away. One of them, it would then look like this. So, and now you can actually test it again exactly. It's really a lot. But for you as a model demonstration, and now pay attention to the inside here. Can we go over here where there are no signs? Pay attention to what is happening back here. Now I'm going to go in here and look, I'm rubbing the glove against the wall. And then you can see how it slides down here. I didn't secure it properly at the bottom, but I'm holding it now. But I should have used it earlier. Look, now it's stopping. And if we take a look now, I just need to wring it out a bit. So then you see here, it looks good. So, maybe 1 or 2 little crumbs, but overall, it has become very clean, and that is exactly the effect. Yes, and down here the dirt collects and accumulates. So it really works very, very reliably. One of the dirt traps that works well. And let's take the Cyclone. That goes in here at the bottom. Here we have the sand in the fibers. I pressed it together again. And now we will just go back into the wash bucket. Here you have the disadvantage that it is a bit flatter. This means you have to go down relatively far, and now you can also wipe it down here at the bottom. You can also rub here with your hands. That works just the same, but then you have to put your other hand in the wash bucket. You'll just have 2 wet hands, but you can also rub a little bit here, like that. But this wall from Detail Grades is really a big advantage because they wanted to solve exactly that problem. So now let's go in, down here. I'll express that once. Now I'll come around to you, and then you'll see that it has also come out nicely. Here. We still have a few very small spots down here, but overall it has really become nice and clean. Yes, and down here, we also have the effect that nothing is floating in here at all, so you can see it clearly. So here you can see it creates a nice turbulence when rubbing off the glove and rinsing it out. Nothing drifts upwards here. And if you now look at the side, you can see here that we have no red particles in it. So even the dirt trap here can create some turbulence. Really intense. And then let me press my fingers here. There's nothing. So it's really the same here. Now press down. There's nothing. No red spots. So the dirt trap, if you have it, is really quite reliable. Now, let's take a look at this one here. You can also pour it back in here. I hope it can be seen well. I'll turn it a bit. Now don't make huge amounts. This is already enough. And let's go in here. I'll better close the can beforehand. So, we are washing out now, going down here. Have you ever noticed the first thing that is happening with my arm right now? It rotates with it, but the dirt trap doesn't tilt when you press down on it. That's already a good thing. You can actually wipe it off quite well at the bottom too. If you hold it up against this now, you can see here that if you do it very, very carefully, it actually works too. But if you rinse it out nicely down here now, we will get a little closer. Then you can pay attention to how the dirt rises when you rinse the glove down here. Now I'm washing this out down here, just normally, and pressing it against it, and then you can see everywhere here. I'll try to film a little closer, and I'll move a bit higher. You can see these little spots everywhere here. All the dark black spots are this dark red, and that is exactly the problem. So it cannot reliably prevent the back and forth movement at the bottom. And when rinsing out the wash glove or rubbing it down here at the bottom, you do it like this. And you have these little points everywhere. It's just not 100% like that. It can also be removed more easily because it has larger holes. That's not so nice with the Cyclone. Here, the grid guard has the advantage again. So now let's put the same amount back into the wash bucket. So, we have already seen the principle here. I will go in here. And it is exactly the same as last time. You can already see here at the slightest, and I don't even have much speed or friction here. The dirt trap really has a very, very loose grip. I really pressed it down properly here. And if I wash here now, and want to rub my glove down here, you can already see on the back that everything is flowing upwards. If I wiggle a bit now, and don't rub it against the dirt trap, everything still rises up from down here. This means that even if I want to rub down here, bam, I end up catching all the dirt here. Well, this is not fully developed yet, but it can still improve. We could turn it around, but that's not the point. I don't think it was designed that way at all. No, that makes no sense, Yusand. And it wouldn't work either, because you would just knock them over. So it only makes sense this way. That's how it should be. But now you can test it again here. It's really enough to rinse the glove over the top. As soon as you go a little further down and capture that, you have the red dots everywhere here. Well, with that, you have now seen these 4 dirt traps again. If you have questions, please conduct these tests at the box, not at home. You will end up with water everywhere. I have done the test for you. You have now seen 4 different models. Also, what is a dirt trap? What is it all about? What is it even for? And also for all the newcomers out there, I hope I was able to give you a little insight into our completely crazy world here in which we live. And now I wish you a nice day. If you have any questions about car care, I am available for you completely free of charge via WhatsApp at any time. Please do not call. Just send a message or a short voice message. The number is displayed below, and I can help you with all possible car care problems. Until then, you're Sebastian. Ciao. And now we also have a pretty updated version of our dirt trap comparison. What models are available and how do they work? Until then. Ciao guys.